Hello and welcome to the first St. Pauli squad report. This is the 1st of September in Season 3. If you haven't come to this video via Reddit, then there will be a link in the description below to take you through to a post that explains everything that happened in the first two seasons and some other bits and bobs pertinent to this youth squad's legends career mode with St. Pauli in the Bundesliga in Germany. So we start off, there are 11 players who are real players still in the squad. We're not going to talk about them, we're not going to look at them. We're just going to look at the youth players. So we'll start off with Brett Cameron, American goalkeeper. He is a 78 overall, and he has the potential to be special. And in a moment, we will see his stats. I had to record this audio separately due to issues with my audio recorder, so I'm re-recording it separately. And as you can see, decent reactions at 66, and his goalkeeping stats are all very good. Just need to train his handling some more, so that will be something we focus on going forward. Then we've got Adam Gannon, another American goalkeeper. He's an exciting prospect. He's played a little bit, I think mainly in pre-season friendlies, and I've been training him a little bit early this season, but as you'll see in a moment, I'm going to be focusing on another goalkeeper, which is Rene Blumberg, a Austrian goalkeeper. I'm managing the Austrian national side, and this guy has the potential to be special. He has started with 60 reactions, straight in, 17 years old, straight into the senior squad with 60 reactions, and we're now training up his his goalkeeping stats. So I've got high hopes for this young man. I think he's going to be a really good player going forward. And then we have Ivan Wojcik, a Polish right back, and I believe he's a defence-minded right back, hence why his physicals aren't as good as a physically strong right back. And yeah, has the potential to be special. He has had a fair bit of training as a 15-year-old and a little bit as a 16-year-old, hence why he's up to 70 overall already. But I have found some more physically strong right backs in Austria, so this guy might get moved on to try and make some big money out of him. Then we have a recent addition. I think it was the end of season 2. We added René Schmid, another Austrian, and another has potential to be special. And this guy's physically strong right back, and he's had a little bit of training that's got him up to, I think he was like 58 when he came into the squad at the end of last season, so he's now up to 63, so he's doing very nicely. We have Kamil Fallon here, a Polish centre-back we bought in from Stoke for I think like 600,000 last season. I think he's probably got a potential of about 75. He's not a long-term prospect, but we needed some cover at centre-back, so we needed to bring in 2 centre-backs. The other one was Suat Nocht, or Nock. I can't remember the German pronunciation. I do know a bit of German, but I can't remember exactly how this one is pronounced. He's a bit better on the physicals than Fallon, but about the same technically, and a good, well-rounded centre-back we bought from FC Cologne for about half a million in the January transfer window of season 2. Then we have Victor Kowalski. I believe he is has potential to be special. Polish centre back, physically strong. This lad's going to be a real one for the future. We just need to work on training his marking and his slide tackle. His stand tackle's really good. But yeah, a little bit of work to be done on him, definitely to get him up to Bundesliga standard. But yeah, Victor is a good player. And here is that other Victor, also a physically strong centre-back. I can't say that. I'm not going to even try and say his surname. This guy doesn't have a potential, I don't think. I did loan him out. I did loan glitch him. Try and get him a potential. Because he's got such good physicals. But yeah, we're going to have to try that again in January. Try loaning him out again and getting him a potential. I found it seems very sensitive, the loan glitch. Like, you'll list a player for loan again and it seems to have undone some of my hard work. This is Akin Dogan, a Turkish centre-back. Physically strong. Have put training into him at various points to get him up to 56, but he's got a way to go before we know his potential. He might have to do some of that growing on his own, but I think he's currently in the training. Then we have Evaristo Guerra from Chile, who is showing great potential. I did loan glitch him and it has stuck, probably because I didn't send him out, put him on the loan list again. We do need to work on, again, marking and slide tackle for him, but I could see him, being a pretty good defender going forward. Then we need to skip a couple of real players before we get to Maurice Aurier, I think is how you pronounce his first name. He is an Ivorian left back we found in the free agents. And he's pretty good. He's a very good all-round player, probably a potential of about 75, so not a long-term prospect, but he certainly does a good job at the moment. Then we need to skip another real player, maybe two. We seem to have frozen for a moment there. It's Ahmet Burak Gazi, a Turkish physically strong CDM. No, actually, maybe he isn't physically strong. Maybe he's defensive minded with those. But then Anyway, plays pretty well now that he's up to a 62. When he was down at like 50 or something when I first got him into the squad, he was a bit frustrating to play with. But now he's a good player. And we have Christian Novak, our Polish CDM. Probably a physically strong by the looks of it. But not sure if he has. No, he doesn't have a potential. We need to loan glitch him out. Get him a potential. But he's a solid CDM. Haven't played with him much yet. Need to get used to him. Give him some more match time. Then we'll have to skip some real players now, I think at least one. And then we're on to Yutaka Matsumoto, who I believe is a technically gifted right midfielder. So he may end up playing more as a central midfielder in the future, but he does have the potential to be special. He does have some great technical stats and some, solid physicals. So he's definitely going to be a good player going forward, and he's Japanese. Then we have Yannick Schmidt. We don't know Yannick Schmidt's potential yet, but it's good to have another German in the squad because we don't actually have that many Germans in the squad for a Bundesliga side, and we really want to try and redress that balance. I have put a little bit of training into Schmidt, but he's growing all over the place. He's even growing in, like his marking, for instance, which is interesting. Then Józef Wielnoyski, I think you might say that. Józef Wojnicki. Again, might be... I guess he could be a winger type. He could be technically gifted with those physicals. He's sort of on the cusp of becoming a... winger type, I guess. But he's got the showing great potential tag. He's from Poland. And he's okay. Haven't really used him. Might have used him as a sub or something. But I can't remember him starting a match that I've actually played. And then we have Andre Zaza, the Pirlo regen, and just like Pirlo, he has, some solid all-round stats and things like ball control and passing. curve really high. And yeah, he's been a solid signing. The board wanted us to get a crucial first team player into the midfield, so we bought him in. This summer we bought this Englishman in here, Harrison Donaldson, and he's actually very well balanced. I didn't think he had a potential, but he does have showing great potential. So I think in the short term at least, he is going to be a very good player to bring in off the bench, and even use in rotation, while some of the other players grow in their technicals and their physicals. So I think moving on now to Akihito Kanemoto or Kanemoto. Not sure exactly how you pronounce that. This is a physically strong central midfielder, the type that Barmer Striker 9 raves about, and I can see why. Because this guy, it's taken a little while to get him up to 16 years old and 60 overall, but it's been worth it. This guy, he might only be showing great potential, but he could stick around for quite a while. As could this guy, Bernhard Bindhammer, a Austrian central midfielder, again physically strong. He scored a cracking headed goal from a corner on his debut, despite having jumping of 44 and heading accuracy of 29. So, God knows how he managed that, but he did. And his brother is the next player we're going to look at. His brother Killian. When we just scroll down in a moment, we'll look at that. But yeah, I think this guy's going to be great for Austria going forward. And here he is, Killian Bindhammer, Austrian, has potential to be special, which I believe Bernhard is also has potential to be special. He's a left mid, but he's technically gifted, so I'm likely to move him inside and play him as a left central midfielder in the future, or a cam maybe. But he's growing nicely across his technicals. Then we have the recently promoted Christopher Schultz. He and Rene Bloomberg have both been promoted this season, and he's another German, and he is a winger type, and he's an exciting prospect. And I'm really looking forward to using this guy. I think he's going to be really good going forward. 70 crossing, and I haven't trained his crossing, so that's fantastic. Starting stat. Then we have Fouad Belghazi, an Algerian left midfielder. I think he's probably a technically gifted, isn't he? Looking at that, and I don't think he has a potential. Let's see. He doesn't. We'll have to learn glitch him out then. But yeah, he's very low on the crossing and stuff. This might be a player we move on. We have some left midfielders in the youth academy who can come in and replace him, so this might be a guy that we move on sooner rather than later. And we have Thomas Nasid, who is the Thomas Rosicki regen. We snapped him up in season 1, so yeah, he's probably a pre-gen. Wow, just look at him. There's a lot of green. Even in his mentals, he's got green. He's really good. We have the Kaka regen, Matheus Silva Costa, another cam. Yeah, and both these cams, despite their finishing, have scored goals. So, it appears that people's ratings, attribute ratings, mean nothing in FIFA at the moment. Then we have Sung Soo Oh, the first ever youth player we added, a South Korean cam. I think he's an attacker type, which is why his finishing was fairly high when I added him. And as the only youth player, I was able to give him, some training, and I trained his finishing up to about 71. But I think by the end of season 1, he was a 71 on his finishing, and he's grown a couple of points on his finishing since. Yeah, I really like playing with Sung Soo Oh. Good player. Really good player. So I think next up we'll have another Austrian. We have Gabriel Wimmer. He's another cam. He's a showing great potential cam, and I'm going to move him on. I'm going to be moving him on. He's a solid player and everything, but yeah, he's not the best of our cams, and we still have too many. We have Takafumi Nagatsuka, who is a Japanese cam with the exciting prospect tag. He starts off with some pretty good physicals. Obviously, he needs work on his stamina. I think I've got him training. I'm training his stamina in the training at the moment. I can't remember them. And then we have Daniel Schinkel, German centre forward, physically strong. Feels really good when I play with him. He feels really good. I feel comfortable with him on the ball. Don't feel like I'm going to get knocked off the ball or anything. And he is showing great potential. But he could stick around for a while due to his really good pace and stuff like that, and strength. Then we have Eligio Guairoga, a Chilean centre forward, showing great potential physically. I don't think he is a physically strong. I think he's a technically gifted. Yeah, he's certainly gifted. I would think. He's played well when I've played with him, and the handful of occasions we've played with him. Scored a cracking goal towards the end of season 2, right in the top corner. We have Ethan Morgan, who is from New Zealand, and I believe he's a winger type. Right winger, but he doesn't have a status. I think he's one of these players who I loan glitched out, and I got him a status, put him back on the loan list, and his stats just disappeared. But yeah, he's okay. I've only really used him off the bench, so I need to use him a bit more to get a better idea of how he plays. Then we have Hayato Hanabusa. Now this guy doesn't have a face, as you can see, but he does have some good physicals. He does have decent crossing and dribbling at long shots, and he looks great in game. He got this like flame red hair, and he plays really well, but he doesn't have a potential. And I've tried to loan glitch him, and it hasn't worked, so I've left him out on loan. Hopefully when he comes back, he'll have glitched out. Oscar Delgado Serna is the Torres regen, the Fernando Torres regen, and he's a solid striker. Hasn't really lit the world up in terms of goals yet, but hopefully that's going to change going forward, and we'll get some goals out of Oscar. And I believe that is the entire report. Yep, for September of season 3 in this career mode with St. Pauli.